What's up, Star Wars nerds? And on this edition of Hyperdrives, I will be reviewing the brand new Sabine Wren and Chopper 2-pack from Rebels. We'll start by taking a look at the outer box. This is a great packaging. I love the 2-pack concepts, and look at that artwork on the side. Looks fantastic. And there's a look at the top, and the bottom is just a bunch of words. Taking a look at the picture, it shows the 2 cards, including the side. There's a nice picture of the ghost flying in the background. And there is Sabine, Chopper, and 2 Loth Cats. So very excited to get this open. And I noticed that they actually changed the opening style. It now opens from the top instead of the side. And they've got this nice little insert there that fills up that space between the 2 cards to keep them from bending. And we'll start by taking a look at the Sabine. Awesome card back. Mural card back looks great. Of course, they made these to go with the rest of the Rebels figures that are coming with the Ghost. Now, there is a little bit of scuffing on the top, and I've ordered 2 of these, and both of them had this. This was actually the better of the 2, and I'm not sure if that's related to the new cardboard insert or not, but look at that image. Fantastic cardback image. I love that they went with that mural concept for all of the Ghost Crew figures. And there she is, looking fantastic in the bubble. You can see all the accessories she comes with. Let's flip over to the back. Now, it is VC332, and there is a description. And they've gone with the mural image on the back rather than showing just this particular figure in card back, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm actually happy they did that. It makes sense. So great looking card back, but let's take a look at her out of the packaging. All right, so here is everything straight out of the packaging. Let's start with the accessories. She comes with this gauntlet shield, very similar to the Paz Vizsla. Then there is this fire effect, a single one for her jetpack. There is her blue blaster, her yellow blaster, and of course her helmet looking really good, and we'll get into some comparisons in a second. As you can see, the helmet is made to swap for the head, and the rangefinder is articulated, but fantastic looking helmet there. So let's compare these accessories with what you got on the Ahsoka Sabine. Of course, the Ahsoka version came with a lightsaber, lit and unlit. Came with that Lothal cat. It came with that spray paint gun, which I'm a little surprised they didn't include in the Rebels version, but it's not a big deal. The blasters for the 2 versions are the same blaster. The new one may be a slightly darker plastic gray. Of course, the Ahsoka version came with this satchel, and there is the infamous helmet from the Ahsoka version, which is significantly larger than the new one. Alright, so let's take a closer look at the figures, starting with the head sculpt. A really, really good head sculpt. I am loving this. I noticed she has that pronounced mole, and if you look at the Ahsoka version, it's got the mole, but it's very subtle. And the Ahsoka version, she has a mole because the live-action actress has a mole, but I don't believe the Rebels version does. So I thought it was a little bit odd they went with a more pronounced mole, or even a mole at all, for the Rebels version. But she still looks fantastic. I love the hair on this head sculpt. The molding and the deco on the jetpack is great. I'm really loving that. And check out the Morai bird on her pauldron. Fantastic. Loving all the various colors and patterns all over her armor. Very, very cool. Really impressive. Just loving that there's patterns on top of patterns. Her belt looks great. It is slightly different than the Rebels version. And check out the gauntlet and her gloves. You know, different paint decos and patterns on the gauntlet and gloves as well. And there's that peg hole for her gauntlet shield. Taking a look at her boots area, she's got those awesome knee pads, different colors, and then she's got the artillery around each leg. And check out the paint apps on her shin guards. Really nice there. So first impressions, I'm just really impressed with the paint deco on this figure. But let's take a look at her with her accessories on. Let's pop off the head. There's that new style ball that has the angles on it instead of just a smooth ball. Helmet pops on nicely, and check that out. That is perfectly scaled. So let's bring in that Ahsoka version to compare the helmet size, and it's just kind of laughable how big that Ahsoka helmet was. It's like a bobblehead.
Heed! Move!
So the differences are astounding. And here she is with her pistol in hand and got that gauntlet shield going and the fire effects, and yeah, just looking really cool. Of course, the backpack is removable. It's got that half moon shaped peg and it fits very securely. And then the fire effect has a little peg there that goes at the bottom if you want to use that, and it fits securely as well. I'll run through the articulation. The head, of course, is on that ball, so plenty of range of motion for the head. You've got a ball hinge at the shoulder, and her pauldron is very flexible, so you can get that arm up pretty high. You've got a ball hinge at the elbow, and check out the angle you can get there, well past 90 degrees, so fantastic. Now at the wrist, I was a little disappointed. There's no hinge there. It's just a little ball socket thing, and I had forgotten that the Ahsoka one does that as well. You can get some angle there, but it doesn't stay. So this might be a tad bit tricky if you want a poser wielding a darksaber. The crunch is on a standard ball socket, so you get plenty of twisting motion, going backwards and forward. Not that great, but it's pretty standard. You've got the awesome barbell hips. You've got a swivel cut there at the thigh. You've got a ball hinge at the knee that gets plenty of angle of motion there. And then down at the ankles, you've got a standard hinge, but with rocker ankles, which is awesome. All right, so let's switch over to the Chopper figure. Here is a look at the card back. Again, the mural image there. And this one also had its own little bit of scuffing. Not quite as bad as Sabine, but still prevalent there along the edge. There is a look at that mural image of Chopper, looking really good. Digging the purple background. There is Chopper in the blister. You can see he comes with 2 Lothal cat accessories, which I thought was a bit odd, but I get it. He's a little figure, so there's plenty of room to add more Lothal cats, so that's fine. BC333, and there is a description of him, and there again is that mural image on the back. So looking good for the card back. Here's everything straight out of the packaging. Let's talk about the accessories. Of course, you've got the 2 Lothal cats. Here is the darker brown one. They do articulate at the neck, just like the previous Lothal we got. There is the lighter color one, which has a little more paint apps. And then he's got his little satellite dish there. This one is the straight one, whereas the angled one came on the figure. I'd like to quickly compare the Lothal cats from the original Ahsoka Sabine release. You can see the original one is much more detailed as far as the deco goes, but at least with 3 different Lothal cats, we have 3 different paint jobs. As far as accessories from the previous Chopper, he came with the extra satellite dish, of course, and then he came with that tracking device from the show. Of course, the Rebels version does not come with that. All right, so let's take a closer look at Chopper himself. Got some pretty good paint on here. A little bit of weathering. Of course, he's got that green upper part of his leg there. That's from the animated show. And everything is looking pretty good. I really don't see any issues with this. Let's compare him to the Ahsoka release. Very similar. Some minor color changes. Of course, his leg is all gray on the Ahsoka version. On the back of the body, they're virtually the same, except on the Rebels version, he's missing that little bit of black paint on that one box area. And then the feet, of course, have that tan versus gray. Taking a closer look. On the Ahsoka version, he's got that weathering under his eye there, versus the animated series does not. So a little more weathering on the Ahsoka version, which makes sense because the Ahsoka show takes place many years after the Rebels show, so you would expect them to have more weathering. We'll quickly run through the articulation even though it's the same as the previous version. The arms do not articulate other than they can swivel. The satellite dish does not articulate, but you can rotate it to change the angle. My favorite part of Chopper's articulation is he can tilt his head to get that little attitude going. Got standard rotation of the feet, and his little wheel does spin. Alright, so that's it for the Chopper figure. So now all we have left to do is get both figures on the spinny. Alright, so overall, this is an excellent 2-pack, a very necessary 2-pack to complete our Ghost Crew for that Ghost HasLab coming soon. But the real star of the show here is the new Sabine Wren, a much improved Sabine, and quite possibly she is my favorite TVC figure of the year. Thanks for watching.